Oh my God.
It's not happening because it's Zoom.
Yes.
Okay. What is this? What is this? Don't panic. You can
This
go
is
back and
what
come
I
back also.
hate. Supposed to start. जेबो हट जाए यहाँ से सामने करना स्टिल बस लिखिए waiting for speakers to join. नहीं ये कैसे क्लोज करते हैं मिनिमाइज ये चैट खुलिया and this is hidden now. Hello. Can we start?
Yes, sure.
Yes, sure. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm Shahina Ashraf. I'm the moderator for this session. To introduce myself, I'm the founder of Consult Art and Design Academy and Consult Baking and Culinary Academy. Today, I'm privileged and honored to be amidst luminary speakers. Fatima Warita Ehsan is a barrister, called to the Bar of England and Wales of Honorary Society of Inner Temple. She is the founder of No Passport Voice, a charitable organization in Bangladesh. Ms. Ehsan comes from a political business family and Bangladesh and followed the family's tradition of contributing to the society in the interest of the people since her return to the country after 9 years of formal education in England. She writes and speaks on public and legal interest, gender equality, current affairs. Her writing has been published in national and international forums. She has also taken part in talks in London, Edinburgh, Bangladesh, India, Thailand, Singapore, Malta. Ms. Ehsan has pursued an LLM degree in international law from City College of London and master's degree on international studies and diplomacy from SOAS, University of London. She is accredited civil and commercial mediator. Prior to starting her career in Bangladesh in 2017, Ms. Ehsan has worked with various local authorities, educational institutions, charities, etc. in London and brought her breadth of knowledge and experience of her career in Bangladesh. Currently, she is authoring her book on women's health. Let's welcome multi-talented and versatile speaker of this session, Ms. Fatima Warita Ehsan.
Thank you so much, Shaheen. That was an incredible introduction. I don't know how much I actually deserve that. Thank you so much. I'm very humbled.
I'm really honored to be a part of this. Please.
Thank you. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the esteemed guests and participants of WEF Bangalore Digital Summit 2020. I think this is incredible that we all have come together from across the globe with the single message of rebooting, reconnecting, and resetting under the auspices of Sister Habeen and Vinayji. This session is on gender sensitization, starts at school level. I think a topic which is a need of the hour. So we all know gender insensitivity and gender inequality are living on in the societies. And I think gender is something which is pretty complex, and a lot of people mix it up with sexes and gender, but the reality is it's total different two things. So in fact, gender is it's a puzzle. So oftentimes it's very complex to understand gender related issues in the world. And how I look into gender sensitization is threefold: awareness, change, and empathy. Understanding gender sensitivity is very broad, and gendering needs to be understood as integral to all social relations at the start. So although the government policies, making laws, research, public speaking, advocating, learning are all out there. Uh, there are campaigns the civil society is working towards eradicating discrimination, corruption, and violence. But the real question is, how far are we actually successful in eradicating gender-based violence and discrimination in the society? So according to the World Bank data, violence against women and girls is a global pandemic that affects 1 in every 3 girls and women in their lifetime. Globally, as many as 38% of women are murdered by their intimate partners. I'm sure just not in India or Bangladesh or in these South Asian countries, but even in across Europe and Americas, there's so much of rise in rape cases, in sexual harassment cases, and situations where girls and women and trans women are teased on the streets. So how do we really control the perverted minds and violent behavior of a person? And how I look into it, that it shall start from home and at school level. And numerous studies have shown that children growing up with violence are more likely, are more prone to becoming survivors themselves or perpetrators of violence in the future. So it is therefore vital to be committed to addressing gender sensitivity through research, learning, investment, collaboration around the world and around the globe, because I think this is a global movement that needs much attention. Gender sensitization may be seen as an inclination to behave in a manner which is sensitive to gender equality and gender justice issues. And there's no alternative but to start it at school level. Children are more acceptable to learning, and they are our future. And hence, when we are empowering our children at school and at home, we are actually protecting our future. The schools, I personally recommend that schools shall run workshop and trainings for the students as well as the teachers and the management. And children usually are very inquisitive by nature, and they are continuously observing and learning from the environment around us. So we need to protect that environment and bring up these children in a manner where they understand gender sensitivity and the justice system. Another aspect of it is modification. So modification of behavior of teachers, guardians, parents and carers of children can have a causal effect on gender equality. I believe you might be brought up in a different household or with a different mindset. Your situations could be different while you were growing up, but while you are growing up your children, you need to make necessary transformation to your own life, to your own knowledge, to your own learning, in order to bring up a child who's more liberal and a child who grows up with more empathy and respect. So it's about changing behavior and instilling empathy into the views that we hold about our own gender and at the same time other genders. So an individual may kind of fail to understand an opposite gender, and in some cases their own self. Sometimes when children are in their vulnerable age of growing up, they try to don't really understand their own, just not on the opposite gender or the third gender, but their own self. And the need for this sensitivity is crucial in order to have a society where where your opposite gender or a third gender is not mistreated, discriminated, or ignored. So I think we should give it to our children, embrace them and instill empathy in them so that they have respect for the opposite gender and the third gender as well. So a change in perception, of the opposite sex has to come from within, and that's what we need to instill in our children, and that's what children need to be taught. So On another way of looking into it of gender sensitivity is the growing up age of a child. So gender stereotyping is very much common. I think we often say it's in Bangladesh, or it's in India, or it's in Pakistan or Afghanistan, or the developing nations. But even while I was in Europe, when I was living in London, I felt and I've seen firsthand where, you know, gender stereotyping is very common. And I think that needs to be put to an end. So things like pink is for a girl child, and dolls are for a girl. Blue is for a boy child, and boys are strong and girls are weak. And the most common of it all, boys do not cry. Now this is something I really feel um, in, I really feel it's the importance of taking this account very seriously, by allowing your boy to cry, or by allowing your boy to express the way he wants to. Because I personally feel everybody is a human first, and everyone, each one of us, be it a boy child or a girl child, everyone should be given the liberty to feel and express, and every human shall feel every emotion, and that is more natural. It's in a way like if you are having to control in your emotions, or your more naturally flowing feelings, so you are actually stopping that child to think in a certain manner, or to express in a certain manner. And and even research and learnings and lectures, scholarly articles and journals have shown in many cases where, you know, you don't give the liberty to feel, you don't give the liberty to a child to feel a certain way, and then at one point of time they become very you know, kind of depressed, or, you know, limited in expressing themselves, which is again you know, not it shouldn't be really advocated for. Another thing that usually is very common is that children are expected to become in a certain, to become a certain way that is more acceptable by the society. And sometimes, you know, students and children are encouraged to behave in a way which is more you know, right in the eyes of the society. And I think that is also something very wrong. So it is, however, an obstacle to growth when individuals are victim of the negative stereotypes of their gender group. So gender sensitivity is how I like to put it is, I would say that it's a resource that the world needs. And at this point of this session, and having the audience from all across the world, I'll be very happy to share the training manual of gender sensitivity compiled from my own foundation, No Passport Voice, which we use to train teachers and guardians and carers and parents of school children in rural Bangladesh. And I'll be very happy to share that manual, to share that training materials with anybody who's interested in empowering the society by doing these trainings and conducting these workshops. So do drop me an email at gmail.com. And I think I'll be more than happy to share that with my soul sisters and the WEF participants around the world. And so I think this is the time, and this is the time when we have the opportunity to be heard. And that's why we are all in this together. Um, it's a global movement, and our final prayer is to try and elicit change. So thank you very much for listening. I would like to end it here.
That was a really lovely talk, Miss Fatima. I really enjoyed it. And to be very frank, I'm a mother of three girls, and I have enjoyed bringing them up. And they are absolutely what they want to be. They have chosen their field. They have the liberty to do what they wish to. Of course, they know exactly. With the path, we just need to show them the path. And your talk has been so apt, and we are in the right forum. We are in the Women's Economic Forum. So I guess it's a right forum for us to let people know, and of course your study content would be something that all of us would definitely like to grab and like to read a little more on that and spread the information to a lot more in this world. Thank you so much to be a part of this talk.
My pleasure. Thank you, Shaheen.
Thank you so much. So, are you staying on, or would you be there for the next level of the talk? I am expecting one more guest in the next 5 minutes.
I don't mind if I can stay. I can stay back. I would
Please
like
do,
to
please do. I would be really happy if
to
you
the
are
speaker.
around. Yes,
Okay.
so there's another speaker. We are just expecting her at 2:30 Indian time.
Okay.
So meanwhile, yes, we can talk. Or if any of the participants would like to ask any questions, yes, we can take the questions.
Yes, I'm happy to take questions.
Yes, so I'm just looking for any questions which has been asked. Let us see. Okay, let me just have a. Okay, let us. You have anything more to discuss, like in terms of countries like ours, like which is definitely developing. Like India is really doing a good job, whatever kind. People have followed. Lots of changes have come from the previous generation to now, and I'm sure to the next level. I can see that in my kids already. So I'm sure we would look forward to a better world, at least from taking forward. But I think it is we are in a better level of what we have seen even a couple of years back. Fatima, you have anything, any more content that you could share with us?
Well, yeah, I do personally. I'm very hopeful that we are going to reach towards a more liberal and a more empathetic society. And when it comes to children, actually, I do personally feel that there's so much to do for children, because I work in the development sector, and I think there aren't enough. So civil societies working towards children's right. And I've actually worked in India as well. I've worked in Dharavi, which is the biggest dumping yard in India. So
Oh,
I worked
yes.
for a British NGO, and the projects were based in Dharavi and Solapur and Govandi. And to be honest, in teaching those rack pickers, I felt, I've learned so much, because these people are very considerate, because they are unfortunately from a very underprivileged background. So it's not their fault about how they choose their life, like picking rags,
Absolutely.
or even to some extent abusing drugs, etc. Where India is, I think, one of those situation in such a situation where you see a lot of children abusing drugs, etc. And I mean, I'm sure there's so much to be done, but there's already been a lot of development, because I really give it to the civil society, to the global movement, to platforms like WEF, where people come and speak about topics which are important to create awareness, etc. So I do think, yes, we are doing very well, but there's so much to be done. And
Absolutely.
it's about taking one day at a time.
Yeah.
And I feel it's more of, if we could have a more inclusive world than exclusive. Exclusive as in not having exclusion, and rather choose inclusion in the societies, and not think about, where, if you're belonging from India, you belong from Pakistan or Bangladesh or even Europe. I mean, development is development. Everybody should be passionate about development, irrespective of their race, gender, countries, borders, and religion. Religion
Absolutely.
is also
Absolutely.
one thing. And I think in that way there should be more development and progress that we see in the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We would look at a better world soon.
Yes.
Let's hope for the same. Can I just check on our next guest? She's yet to arrive. Have you visited Bangalore anytime?
No, I haven't. I think the south part of India, Bangalore is South India, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, Karnataka.
So I've been to Hyderabad,
All
and
right.
that's all I went in that
Okay.
region. Yeah,
We
but
would
I would
love
love
to
to.
meet you someday at Bangalore. Do
Yeah,
come.
absolutely, absolutely.
Bangalore is the IT capital. Of course, with
Yeah,
all these conditions coming down one day, let's look forward to having another meeting, all of us
yeah,
someday in a better way. Okay.
inshallah, for sure.
I'm yet to receive the new guest. 2:30. I still have 2 minutes. So,
Well, and there might have been an issue because even my time, I believe, is a half an hour off of what I was initially told and put in my calendar.
okay.
So I might have been late for the last one. I'm not sure.
Hi, Bridget. This is Shahina here. I just gave
Yeah.
my small introduction to Fatima. So I would like to welcome you. And Fatima, I think you're still online. And I would just, go ahead welcoming Bridget. Okay. Hi, everyone, whoever's online. Uh, so let me start off with my second speaker. There's a famous quote: if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. Reading the profile of today's speaker, I felt the same. I'm happy and feel honored to present a multi-talented personality, M. Bridget Cook Birch. Birch is the New York Times and Wall Street Journal's bestseller author and mentor, best known for her riveting tales of transformation. As a leader, storyteller, trainer, and humanitarian, her powerful work has been showcased on Oprah, CNN, Good Morning America, Dateline, 2020, The History Channel, Dr. Phil, and in the People, Marie Claire magazines, among many more. Bridget loves to empower women, men, and youth. As the executive director of Sheroes United, a Utah new nonprofit with global research that is dedicated to ending violence of all forms of violence against women and empowering them to become leaders of self, family, communities, and nations. Several of her books continue in national and international best-selling categories and are translated into many languages. She's currently working on 2 more books that involve powerful transformation and international leadership and personal legacy. A social and serial entrepreneur, Bridget has owned and operated several companies in Utah and Colorado. As a devoted wife and mother, she creates time and connection with her 4 amazing children and more pets than a husband can handle. An internationally sought after speaker and activist, Bridget wows audience on the subject of radical transformation, conscious business, and how to leave the footprints of an inspired legacy. Today, you will find her actively involved with powerful Sheroes United initiatives in Utah and world humanitarian work in Europe, India, and Africa. I'm proud to present Ms. Bridget Cook Birch to the audience.
Thank you. I'm very honored to be here. How are you ladies doing?
All well.
I'm so glad to hear that. And Fatima, I was enjoying listening to some of your things. I apologize for getting on a bit late, but you're very well spoken, and I love the passion with which you were talking about, in particular, children that I was able to hear. And I'm excited to get to know you better as well.
Thank you so much, Bridget. That's so humbling. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So do you want me just to go into a few things that I prepared for our audience today?
Please,
Or...
you can go ahead. Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Well, you know, I put in a lot of thought about today's topic. It's 3 o'clock in the morning here, but I know in Bangalore it's midday, and I'm sure that the women are bustling around and doing all kinds of things. I was very impressed at how the leadership of the Women's Economic Forum put all of this together in such a short period of time, and to formulate lounges for us to be able to network and to share, and for women leaders from all over the world, despite COVID, to be able to come together. And it proves to me, because there are quite a few conferences that I've been involved in this year that were just completely canceled. So case in point, I was supposed to go to Florida, and there was a gentleman that was putting on this conference, and I was being paid to come be a speaker and a teacher, and they just canceled it until next year. And he's a wonderful leader. But what I said to him is, we could still be of great value even online. And it was just something he wasn't willing to pivot fast with. And I thought it was absolutely beautiful that the women of Bangalore and the rest of WEF came together so amazingly. And to be honest, this is a trait that I see in women around the world. In all of the different countries that I've had the privilege and opportunity of working with, doing business with, doing nonprofit humanitarian, whenever there is a great deal of work being done, I see women often very quiet and not always, you know, taking a front spotlight leadership position. And yet I see them as this incredible army of women who are coming together to change the world for the better. And so today, as we're talking about what it means to become a leader and to become more influential in life and in business and in relationships, I would like to share that I see sometimes women attempting to become like men. You know, they'll put on the dark suit and even a tie perhaps, and they will stride into an office, and they'll create a real sense of busyness and almost an aggressive type of energy. And there's nothing wrong with that, especially if a woman has a natural, you know, type A personality. But I often see them struggle. And many women will come to me and they'll say, I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, and I am struggling to become a person of influence. And one of the things that we actually work on is for them to be able to enjoy and maintain these skills that are masculine in nature, you know, getting things done and having the ability to think brilliantly and to be able to go out into the world and pursue things. But also, the women leaders that I find the happiest are the ones that find balance with their feminine energy as well. So they're willing to do things for themselves. They're willing to dress beautifully and to enjoy all of their feminine qualities as well as their masculine. But sometimes a woman who is seeking to be a leader doesn't always know how to stand in her power at the same time as her femininity. And that's what I would like to share with you this evening, because there is a great need for more women leaders. I am seeing that across the globe. And I'm in an area where we are seeing the results of what happens when we don't have great leadership at the helm. And then we've had some examples of some really fantastic leadership from men and women. And what I would love to share with you are the aspects of influence that I see, especially under pressure, where I noticed that women and men have a tendency to come together in a more powerful way. So first of all, I'd like to speak about women are, we have different skill sets that are equally as powerful and that are so needed in corporate, in business, in government, and in nonprofit, straight across the board. And one of the things that they are finding after so many decades of research, but particularly in the last 5 years, is that corporations make more money and they maintain greater influence. They maintain their employees better and have higher profitability when women make up at least 40% of the workforce. It's extraordinary. And so corporations are learning this. Oh, we will be more profitable and be able to maintain things if we include women. The second thing that I think is radically important is that women historically have deferred in higher positions of authority. They have often deferred to male role models to be those who have a voice. And yet increasingly, women are finding that they are not satisfied with the status quo because of levels of violence in the workplace, levels of violence in the home, levels of violence in the community. Those who are not being treated equitably basis of skin color or race or religion, and that they are also seeing economically deprived individuals, and women have a tendency to create more of a equitable terms of equality, equal pay for equal work, making sure that there are programs that are quite supportive of individuals, including single dads. You know, there will be, when women are at the home, they have a tendency to create more of these programs in the workforce and in the communities that actually help all individuals and families. However, in order to become a woman of influence, there is also this very important thing that a woman must do, and that is to own her visibility and to own the power of her own story. Not just all of the men in the room, and not just all of the other women in the room, because we have a tendency to be each other's greatest fans, but for ourselves to take a deep look at our story. Every difficult thing that we have been through, every tragedy that we have survived, every skill that we have evolved at home and in the workplace and in the community, and to see those as the victories that they are. To not be afraid of the hard and difficult things that we have traversed through, because those are the things that do two things for a woman of influence. Number one is it allows her to be vulnerable and to be approachable by others, men and women, because they see, oh, she's like me. She's been through these difficult circumstances. She has survived through tragedies. And now look where she's at on the other side. The second thing that owning the story does for a woman is this ability to say, yes, I've been through these things and I have risen beyond it. And this is where the great power of a woman's story and her visibility and her ability to reach and touch more individuals comes into play. When she can own the power of her story, she is more likely to dominate in a feminine way, as well as in the masculine way, her paycheck, her worth in the home, her worth in the community, and her worth in herself. And when that happens, a woman becomes an asset within herself. She maintains a certain amount of confidence and a level to be able to hold a conversation with anyone on the planet. And no longer does the dictator in her head all of the old beliefs that she had, that maybe I'm not good enough, or I'm not influential enough, or I don't have enough experience. Those old voices get drowned out by the new voices of confidence and resilience. And women's resiliency is one of the reasons why our communities are making it through these difficult times, is because women know how to pivot fast, to change fast, and to be able to do things more compassionately on a quicker level. And it's just a natural and innate thing. And of course, you know, not all women fit into one category and not all men fit into another category. And I would never, ever say that. I love individual women and their stories, just as I love individual men and their stories. However, women as a whole, I think we are discovering that it's time for us to stand for something. The crux of what I would love for any woman today to be able to get out of this discussion that we're having is that in order for us to be able to influence many, many others, the first person that we must influence is ourselves. And
Absolutely.
yes, and then once that story is overcome, and it's interesting too, because you know, we may find that we have to do this multiple times, and most humans do, just like most of the men who are CEOs and government leaders, just like the women, have had to retell a story to themselves over and over again. But what I would love to suggest for anyone that is looking to raise their level of influence is that you must be willing to receive in order to give more. If you are worried about putting food on the table or having a roof over your head and a roof over your children's head, then you must be able to have economic viability. And so to not be afraid to go after the job of your dreams, and certain titles and certain positions that would enable you, whether you're an entrepreneur or, you know, as a business owner or an employee, to go after the jobs of your dreams that you have been wanting. They did some interesting research just in the last few years, and it's, if men are halfway qualified, then they will go after a position. Because to them, it's like, oh, this is a challenge. This is something that I can do. And they feel enough confidence in themselves to go after it. Women, however, often have to be more than 2 times qualified for that. So if it requires a degree, well, I better have 2 degrees above that in order to go after this job. And what I'm suggesting is that a woman shifts her mindset when she shifts her story. That I want to reach, I want to influence. I know I have a story to tell. I know I have skills to share. I know that I have incredible love to give, and I'm brilliant and smart and strong, and that there is something within me that I am ready to give. And that they take that energy forward, because then you have the ability to reach tens, hundreds, thousands, hundreds of thousands, or even millions. And some of the greatest miracles that I have ever experienced is when I have been very clear on who I am serving. Like as Shahina was so kindly giving my introduction, my work has been seen all over the world in many different countries, translated into different languages on some of the most popular shows on television, at least American television, but also in other areas. And it hasn't been that, you know, oh, I want my books to be on Oprah. Like, that was exciting, but it was who we were serving when we were writing those stories, who we were serving when we were developing our businesses and our nonprofits. Who do we have the heart and the joy and the love to be able to serve? When you're very clear on that, suddenly the whole world opens, because resources, people, all kinds of things, they become enrolled in your passion and your vision, and they want to help. And so your vision grows. So just to finish up, allow your story to pave the way, and let yourself be economically prowess in your field. Like, allow yourself to be economically viable so that you can serve others, and be clear who you're serving, and enjoy the miracles as they unfold before you. Doesn't mean it's going to be a perfect journey, but when you're open to those three things, I've seen the miracles unfold before you in such beautiful ways. So that's primarily what I wanted to say, and then I would love to have more discussion.
Oh, I'm just mesmerized. Exactly the things that I think every woman feels is what exactly you spoke. I think all of us should get inspired by your profile, the kind of path you have paved all the way. It is amazing, Bridget. I'm really, really happy to have had you here. So before we,
Just
I
wanted
would
to
just
quickly
see
add,
if there's anyone. Fatima, I think you were asking.
yeah, I just wanted to quickly add, thank you so much, Bridget, for this wonderful talk. I absolutely enjoyed it, and the way that you are portraying things, it's sometimes so powerful, because a lot of the things somebody talks about, which is fascinating, which is powerful, we want to hear these more. So, and
Exactly.
when you speak, I certainly think, oh yes, I think the same way, or oh yes, I connect to this, but maybe
Exactly.
I do not have the ability to put this across, but you've just put this across so beautifully. And so I'm so glad that I stayed for the session, and absolutely empowered myself by your talk. Thank you.
I'm
Thank
so happy to have both the beautiful speakers with powerful talks, and I'm come to the last part of our session where we are just conferring two awards to both of you. So one by one, okay.
That's
The
a surprise.
WEF
you.
confers on Fatima Warita Ehsan the award of Iconic Women Creating a Better World for All.
Thank you so much.
Yay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, and it will reach to you. Our Bangalore team will get back to you with the award. Okay, and it will
Thank
reach your mailbox immediately, but you'll get a hard copy soon.
Okay.
And
Congratulations, Fatima. That's
Thank
beautiful.
you. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be sharing the platform with you.
Oh, same with you. I'm very honored and just delighted. Thank you.
okay. The WEF confers on Ms. Bridget Cook Birch the award of Iconic Women Creating a Better World for All. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, we have had a great session. We would love to invite both of you anytime you come to India. Do visit us at Bangalore. It's a lovely place.
Certainly.
Known, I guess, when people talk about Bangalore, they talk about the greenery and the IT capital. And of course, we are waiting here. So do come. We would love to have you both anytime you visit India. We have
Thank,
had a great session. Thank you so much.
thank you so
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bridget, I would like to stay in touch with you. Could you please give me your email where I can email you, or like how
I
do
would
we?
love that. Is
Yeah.
that okay?
Yes, yes,
Shahina?
please,
Okay.
please, please. I would like to be in touch with you too.
Beautiful. I would love that from both of you.
So
So
if you,
it's my first name, Bridget.
yes,
So the BRIDGET
all right,
at the at sign
yes, yes. Pardon?
MBC.
M,
So M is in Mary,
ah,
B is in boy,
all right,
C, okay.
all right.
Inspired with a D on the end,
Inspired Legacy.
inspiredlegacy.com.
All right. So
And I'm
we would,
sorry it's so long. I'm in the middle of rebranding and I'll have a short one very soon.
we'll keep in touch. I'm going to really follow you, definitely. And Fatima, you too. I'm so
Yes.
proud and happy I have shared the screen with you both.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shahina. Next
Thank
time
you
I'm
so
in Bangalore, we're definitely going to meet up.
Definitely,
I
definitely.
just wanted to know, are these sessions recorded? Like, are we going to get the
Yes,
recording?
yes, it's recorded. I would check with our backend team how they can reach out to you with the
Okay,
same. And
perfect.
it's also there live on Facebook and YouTube. So
Okay,
we'll send you a link too. You can have a look and you can share with your friends and relatives.
okay. That
Oh,
would be
wonderful.
perfect.
All right, all right. Thank you
Thank,
so much.
thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. Thank you.
Thank you to both of you. And
Thank
I
you.
look forward to hearing from you.
Yes.
Same
Thank you.
here.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. sign in. There we go.